friends, Benjamin here from Lean Strong Fitness and Wellness. Today I'm coming at you with 3 tips for people who are either new to strength training or haven't been consistently strength training for a while, so you can get the most out of your workouts and get the best results in the least time. So, tip number 1 for you is to focus on full body workouts and compound exercises every time you work out. Now I know that's a little bit counterintuitive because a lot of what you see out there is that you have an arms day and then a back day and then a leg day, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But that's for people who are seriously advanced when it comes to their fitness and really need to be able to just annihilate a single muscle group in order to stimulate growth. Think high-level athletes, bodybuilders, powerlifters, people who aren't you and me. So when you're looking at full body, is you should be doing a full body routine every time you work out, which means that you're getting all of the main muscle groups in your body. And compound exercises is fitness lingo for doing exercises that work at more than one joint. So for instance, if you were doing a bicep curl, you're only going to be flexing at your elbow and working your bicep. But if you were to do something like a dumbbell row, that's going to be flexing at the bicep. So you're still flexing at the elbow, so you're still going to get bicep work, but it's compound because you're also moving your shoulder joint, and that's going to give you upper back strength. So as an example for these would be things like squats or lunges, anything like a hip hinging movement, like a deadlift or a hip thrust, any sort of pressing, like a modified push-up or a dumbbell press or even an overhead press if shoulder mobility permits, and then any rowing exercises such as, like I mentioned, a dumbbell row or a TRX row. But generally speaking, you can get really, really good results, arguably even better results by focusing on less exercises if you're looking at compound movements. Don't worry too much about the isolation stuff. When it comes to doing a workout, you probably only need 4 to 6 exercises most of the time. So you want to get the ones that are biggest bang for your buck. Tip number 2 is focus on frequency over intensity. And what we mean by that is working out more frequently, but less intensely, so you're not killing yourself every time. Not only is going to give you less soreness, so you don't feel crippled when you're trying to sit on the toilet or walk up the stairs. You don't have that awful residual soreness. It's good to have a little bit of soreness so you can tell what you worked, but you shouldn't be glued to a chair for the next day because you can barely walk. But if you focus on more frequent, shorter workouts that have, you're not pushing quite as hard, you'll actually get better results long term. And the reason for this is one of the most important things when it comes to getting results and building muscle is your total number of reps, or what we call your volume. It's the amount of work you did over time. Each individual workout, and I hesitate to say this because I own a gym, but each individual workout is basically worthless. It's the accumulation of workouts over time that leads to results. So if you're working out really hard once or twice a week, that's okay, but you're gonna have greater risk of injury, more soreness, probably less results, versus if you can work out 3 to 4 to even maybe 5 times a week if you're keeping them nice and short, but you're not really pushing that hard. You're getting the compound exercises I mentioned before. You're getting more total reps in, you're getting more total practice in. So you're not only getting better at exercise, but you're also getting more work over time. So generally speaking, we think of volume or amount of work done over the course of a week. So tip number 3, which ties perfectly into the frequency and intensity piece, is focus on shorter workouts. So contrary to popular belief, you do not have to work out for an hour and a half, 2 hours. You absolutely should not be living in the gym. For most people 40, 50 and beyond, the sweet spot really is 35 to 45 minutes for your workout, but it can be as short as even 20 minutes. And this fits perfectly with the frequency piece because it's a pain in the ass to schedule 4 to 5 workouts a week, even 3 workouts a week if you have to be there for an hour and a half, plus you got to get changed, plus you got to shower, plus you got to eat. It's like, ain't nobody got time for that. But the hack is if you can book in 30-minute workouts where you can be you've had lunch, you've had a shower, you're good to go in under an hour. Those more frequent, shorter workouts are going to lead to more consistency over time, better results from the volume piece I mentioned earlier, and you're going to get so much better at exercise, which builds that habit. So if you can get those frequent workouts in, you're doing so much better than you would be if you're just like, I'm working out really hard on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's it. Nothing wrong with that. It's a wonderful starting place, but try to keep them a little bit shorter. And I've got a bonus tip for you today. Tip number 4, and this comes back to how heavy should you be lifting? And there's no real rule for this because different people are different strengths, so it's hard to say no one should lift any more than this much or any lighter than this much because that's not specific to you at all. The general rule of thumb is, especially when you're starting out, you want to be aiming for probably around 12 to 15 repetitions in a set. So if you have a weight that you can do consistently for 15 repetitions and you can still get maybe 18 or 19 out of it, you probably need to increase the weight a little bit. On the flip side, if you have a weight that you're really struggling to get 10 reps in, and it's like rep 7 was good, 8 was starting to get grueling, 9 and 10 were like not the best form you've ever seen, that's where you probably need to decrease the weight a little bit. So it's not universal, and there's obviously some nuance to this that I'm not going to be able to communicate in an Instagram video. But if you're thinking in that 10 to 15 rep range, you're doing well. And as soon as you can get more than 15 reps, increase the weight a little bit and do something like 10 or 12. And if you're struggling to get 10, decrease the weight a bit so you can get that 10 to 15. But basically, you'll keep working in that 10 to 15 range until you can consistently do above 15. Then you increase the weight, decrease the reps a little bit, and work your way back up. And that's just the beauty of that slow and steady wins the race thing. So those are the 3 tips, plus a bonus tip for you, for those of you who are either new to strength training or haven't been strength training in a while. Talk soon.